Hey folks, it's September. We are in the Austrian Alps, North Austrian Alps, and very close to the southern border of Germany, which is to say we're also out of the center of the Alps where the rock types are granite and other igneous rock types. We have left that central zone and we're now in the northern zone. We call this part the northern Limestone Alps, and what that tells you, of course, is that we're in the sedimentary rock regime. It means a few things. It means that that rock is eroded easier than the hard igneous rocks, and so these Alps are generally lower. And it's true that this reaches maybe up to 3,000 meters or 10,000 feet, versus the Central Alps maybe 4,000 meters or 14,000 feet. And another thing it means is that rivers have an easier time cutting into the rock, and that's why we're in such a super steep valley here. You can look across really easy to that little farming house or stables, but it's really, really steep in between. And then finally what it means is the reason that we're here. What it means is that when water travels through limestone, which is a porous stone, the water got saturated with calcium and carbonates, because those are the components of limestone. And when the water then gets out again from the rock and makes these little springs, as we just saw over here, there is a chance for that calcium and carbonate to re-precipitate. So making new, fresh limestone. We call that secondary formation of limestone. And if that happens where plants are growing, then the first thing you'll see is that those plants are calcifying. And I can just grab a little bit here. This is not plants anymore. It resists me grabbing it. I'm going to try anyway. And there we go. It looks a little bit more like a rock, even though you can still see the plant structures, and some of the plants are even still surviving. If you look on the other side, it's already 90% rock, completely calcified, and actually really hard to break with my fingers. So this secondary limestone, we call it TUFA, and it can grow denser and harder. And for instance, over here, we have a good patch where it's denser and harder, and the plants are no longer alive. This is not breakable by hand, even though it's still light for a limestone. This is not it. Even if it's still relatively light for a limestone, it is much harder than the one I was just grabbing. And if you zoom out again from understanding this process now and knowing what it does, then you can also see its effect on the landscape. For instance, over here, this steeper section, and also over there in the back, we see that because this rock and the plants and everything has been sort of glued together and strengthened by this formation of tufa, we see that it resists erosion and it resists collapse, and it builds these vertical walls. Even if just around the corner and just around the next corner, we will see that kind of steepness cannot be maintained and would immediately fall apart and collapse, because it's very localized that we get these formation of secondary limestones. So kind of cool that we see it today. Why is it cool that we see it today? Because it's been raining all day, and we have the fresh water kind of illustrating the process for you. So we waited for a bad day to go hiking and show you this. TUFA, remember it. Bye.